What's up, everybody? Here for Jund League number 10. Finally hit the double digits, so that's exciting. I'm continuing my exploration of Seasoned Pyromancer. So I'm playing a list close to what I would usually do, but I've made room for 2 Seasoned Pyromancers. Not playing Croxa like I was playing last league. So just gonna really try to highlight how Seasoned Pyromancer cooperates with what I would usually do. Speaking of what I would usually do, I finally brought back my Terminate. I know I had talked previously about bringing back another 2-mana interactive spell. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it another Abrupt Decay or another Terminate, but I really dislike Assassin's Trophy, so I'm electing to use Terminate to see how that does today. I brought back second Scavenging Ooze, and I also brought back 1 Dark Confidant as more early threats, as well as a tool to as well as the Ooze as a way to disrupt the graveyard plans, as well as a nice fast sticky threat versus the various aggro shells. I've done a few interesting things in the sideboard. I feel like 3 Spell Bomb and 3 Collective Brutality is going to be pretty standard, at least for me. Kind of the same with 2 Ashioks, 2 and 2 Plague Engineers. My 5 flex spots kind of exist right here. I don't really have a whole lot of sideboard technology for the big mana decks, and I don't really have anything devoted for combo decks. So Damping Sphere is kind of filling that role right now. I'm going to get over to the metagame snapshot in a sec, and it's going to show you that there's lots of mid-range and aggro, so I think Kitchen Finks is going to shine in both of those places. Alpine Moon is a hedge versus things like Field of the Dead, and also just another good thing versus the Tron decks. And then I'm experimentally going to play a Bob on the sideboard. It's not individually high impact the moment it comes into play in the matchups where I plan on bringing it in. But it is my best card in lots of matchups like Blue-White Stoneblade and against things like Bant Piles that contain Uro, because it's my way to keep up on cards. So that's what I've got going currently. Let's take a look at the metagame, which influences my decisions to make this. It's pretty similar to how it was yesterday. We still have Blitz, Uro Piles, Stoneblade, and Burn coming in at top 4. We do have old-fashioned Tron rising in the ranks, though, which is one of the reasons why I felt like I needed to keep second Damping Sphere and also play an Alpine Moon. Our hero Jund continuously falling, but we have a bunch of pretty good matchups also lower in the percentage ranks, and some really good ones at the top as well. Like I like the games that Stoneblade and Uro generate. I'm fine playing against Blitz and Burn. Obviously would like to avoid E-Tron, Gruul, and Tron if I can, but don't mind playing against Goblins, don't mind playing against Lurrus, Merfolk, Devoted Devastation. So just looking at these top 12, I think Jund is still probably a fine choice. I expect to have favorable to okay matchups with just about half of these, and then slightly unfavorable but winnable matchups with the other half. So not exactly the perfect metagame choice currently, but I think it's fine, and let's see how we do in the league. So let me move this over here. Come on, there we go. Let me make sure I have all my right windows up so I can see chat. Cool. Yeah, sounds fine. It's missing the threat, but we've got a 1-mana play and a powerful 3-drop. And if our powerful 3-drop isn't fast enough, we've got pulls to answer or whatever. Darn. Alright. We hit a rough one. Could still be E-Tron, which is better than regular Tron for us. Alright, well, it's a little too late. If we were on the play, that would have been amazing. But we're not going to not play it, so... Alright, I guess I'll just take another map. I could take the star because it's their only access to colored mana. think I actually will. It's also a redraw. It'll help them find their payoffs faster. Like, if they're playing regular Tron, this could keep them off a Thragtusk for an extra turn. Maybe that lets our Liliana wreak a little bit of extra havoc. Alright, so they're going to have the Tron, no surprise. Tarmogoyf. Dang. Meyer Goop. I guess fingers crossed for E-Tron. This hand's fine versus E-Tron. It's actually great versus E-Tron. We're just missing the Goyf. If this is regular Tron, we're going to have a bad time. So I still don't know which version of Tron this is. We've got Kolaghan's command for whatever they get. Maybe I let them search again. They get Trinisphere? That's fine. Okay, I was gonna say maybe I'll let them search again because then I can Kolaghan's command to finish off the Karn. But that's probably on the greedy side. I'll get Overgrown Tomb and then I'll just shock in the Stomping Ground. In case there's still E-Tron, I'll want to keep the fetch in case I want to enable Revolt on a later turn for something like a Thought-Knot Seer. So I think it's right for the Verdant to be our 4th land. So yeah, I don't think I can let them minus again. Not now. So I guess I should just go ahead and shock. And then I'll do this now. Maybe I don't even need to kill the Trinisphere. I hadn't considered that. Maybe I just kill whatever they get with the Karn this time. The issue is if they minus and get a Worm Coil, I can't really beat that easily. Like, I could do 2 damage, shatter it, then pulse the tokens, but they're going to have time to find something else. Yeah, maybe the Trinisphere is just annoying enough. And then next turn I plan on playing Liliana, hold up a Fatal Push. Another tower. Jeez. Just drew another payoff. Darn. Alright, so it's just regular Tron. We've got the Maelstrom Pulse for the Karn. Ideally we just draw a Lightning Bolt that can deal with it that way. So we can save the Pulse for something else. But honestly, if we draw a Lightning Bolt, that's not even a game we're necessarily winning. Them animating Expedition Map is kind of strange because it gives us a push target, but I guess they could just sacrifice it in response to us trying to kill it. Red and 6 kills it too, but I think I need to take care of this Karn. I'm assuming this is Worm Coil. Ah, okay. Ashiok can stop their ways to search for Blast Zone, which would be how they answer our land hate. So I think it's worth it here. Fatal Push doesn't do a whole lot. Don't think Terminate's going to do a whole lot. Abrupt Decay can hit things like Oblivion Stone. And it can also kill a lot of what Karn the Great Creator is going to get. Bolt doesn't do a lot, but it finishes off Planeswalkers, so I like holding a few. Maybe Ooze is just too slow. It's a Grizzly Bear. Kind of hard to mulligan this. Abrupt Decay is pretty nice here because we can use it to destroy a turn 1 map, expedition map. If they somehow don't have map, we can run in 6 instead. And then I plan on getting Stomping Ground. And then we'll have Blackleaf Cliff Swamp for Ashiok. Turn 1 Forest. I'm fine with that. That means I'm going to run in 6 now. Pretty nice that I have this window to cast the run in 6 instead of having to Abrupt Decay a map. Don't know what kind of hand they would have kept at 6. They kept a 6-card hand and just didn't play a Tron land. I don't know that I want to actually activate this Ashiok. I suppose there's not really a way that they have to pressure it. So, I mean, if I find second Ashiok, I mean, Mill is a way I could technically win. It's not super likely. I could just mill myself. Oh, you know why they played Forest? Turn 1? They have Veil of Summer. They have Veil of Summer. So if I'm going to minus an Ashiok, it's going to be on myself. I don't actually have a Kolaghan's command right now. I'm not playing Kroxa or anything like that. I guess I'll just pass. You know what? I'll mill myself once. Because like if they have a 4 lands off the top. Good job, me. What was I gonna say? Oh, because if they have a Beast Within as an answer, then I'm gonna want to make sure I can get some value off of it. That's a Karn. So hopefully they don't have other Tron lands. They can't search for it. They just have to have it. Bloodbraid. Alright, well, if they minus on a Planeswalker to kill a Karn, I can bolt the Karn to finish it off, so that's not the worst. Still have an Overgrown Tomb. I still have an Overgrown Tomb as a fetchable. I think I want to just take all of the lands out of my deck if I can. Alright, and they could Veil of Summer now, but they wouldn't get a card off of it, so I'll target them now. Did I get anything cool? I got rid of a tower. And a Thragtusk. I mean, if this Renin 6 somehow ultimates, I've got 5 lightning bolts in my hand. We dodged it. Nice. Alright, so this at least gives them something else to worry about on top of the Renin 6. What I really, really don't want to see is Tron land into Oblivion Stone. I'm snapping off this ultimate on Renin 6, first chance I get. They're drawing to 3 towers. That's not a tower. Okay. Interesting that they're tapping their Tron lands. It's like if they draw a tower, they wouldn't have 7 mana to play this Karn anymore. Instead, if they had just tapped the forest, for example. Alright, map doesn't do anything because we have an Ashiok in play. Alright, we have a Lightning Bolt. That's our win con. Untap. Emblem. 2 lightning bolts a turn. Not even going to worry about popping this expedition map. If they try to kill my Ashiok, I can respond by Abrupt Decaying. I do still have basic Mountain in the deck, so if I actually play a land, I can bolt them. Yeah, I think I should be playing 1 more land to enable just the ability to bolt them more this turn. Like, this is 3 bolts, and then I'll have 1 more bolt in my hand. So not including an attack, I can already put them to 1 next turn. Hit the Tron. We can beat a Karn. Let's see if they can figure out that they can't search. Sorry, bud. Alright, there goes Goif. Yep. So I'm gonna bolt you 4 times. That's 1 short of lethal. My fetches no longer have targets, so I'll pitch those first. I could just decay the map now. I still think they have Veil of Summer, though. There's probably not a reason to let them dig to another answer to something. Land? Literally a land kills them. So now do I want to bolt the Karn? It's kind of far away from restarting the game. But if they've got Ulamog and they exile all my red sources between the Karn and the Ulamog, that's a way that I lose. I can insulate from Ulamog by playing Liliana of the Veil. Probably should in that case. I'll minus first so they can't Veil me. Or they could, but this way they won't draw a card. Don't really think I should mill myself. Like, it gives me more options for the Renin 6 emblem, but my win con is already in the yard. Alright, so they are just veiling. They're not going to draw a card, though. That's fine. Alright, so now I can Liliana. I think I'll discard a Seasoned Pyromancer. Or should I just be playing Seasoned Pyromancer? I should probably just be playing Seasoned Pyromancer, right? It's a thing that attacks. Then I can pitch my 2 spells to try to find like lands. Bloodbraid's good. That would mean I have to play my lands, though. I should probably just continue on with the plan of killing them with the lightning bolts. Now that I have more, I should just go with that. Although I guess playing Bloodbraid right now is kind of like bolting them. I think I'll just pass. Exiling an attacker is a good sign. Maybe they just have another Karn, but they can't. We beat another Karn. I see. So definitely going to be bolting them end step with the actual bolt in my hand. They're not going to get to use their mana again by the time it's their turn. They can't exile my yard with my own Ashiok. So I think I'm just going to make sure this bolt is used as a bolt. Alright, so they'll get to control me once, and then I'll get to untap and ideally attack them. I think this Bloodbraid means I'm locked to win, because they can suicide one elemental in now, and then on my attack I would throw an elemental away. But the Bloodbraid's going to sneak by. Or I guess the elemental will sneak by, and the Bloodbraid would get blocked. Inquisition doesn't actually target me. Well, I mean it does, but it doesn't take Bloodbraid. It's pretty funny. So I'm pretty sure they are just dead now. Like, they could Nature's Claim their own map and gain 4. That's something that could happen. They get to discard my Swamp to Lightning Bolt the Bloodbraid, but then I get to use the other Bloodbraid. So yeah, they could discard my Swamp to Lightning Bolt my own Bloodbraid. I use an elemental, attack into their Emrakul, and then my other elemental can't get through, but then my second Bloodbraid will push the elemental through. So I think we're good here. Oh wait. Yeah. So now they'll bolt an elemental. Oh, they could Thoughtseize me now, but then the elemental still gets through. Because the elemental isn't dying. Seven lands in my yard, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm also drawing to 9 lands that are lightning bolts. And 1 lightning bolt that's a lightning bolt. Yeah, so I think the Bloodbraid just kills them now, unless they have Nature's Claim. Renin 6 does it. Liliana's good too, because that kills their Emrakul, assuming my plan doesn't work and they have the Nature's Claim. They could have Veil of Summer again. They would even draw the card off of it. Cool, we did it. We beat Tron for a game. But now we're on the draw. Don't know why I didn't bring this other bob in. That was a mistake, for sure. It's 100% better than Ooze. Ooze is just a grizzly bear. Bob attacks for the same amount, but helps me find more cards. So I mean, pretty much every sideboard card that I brought in, except for the land hate, did work. This Ashiok actually saved me, right? Because they weren't able to search with their Sanctum. And that Sanctum would have found something gnarly. This hand may like seem good, but I don't think it is. It's got all of my lands. It's got turn 1 Inquisition. Decay doesn't hit map while I'm on the draw. But I'm missing pressure. I doubt that Renin 6 goes the distance again. That seems really hopeful. I'm leaning towards Mulligan with this. Is that crazy? I mean, if their way to get Tron is Sylvan Scrying, this hand's great. Maybe I just have to bank on that. Oh my god, I hate this. I really don't know if this is a keep. Yeah, I would love Pillage in this matchup. But I don't have it currently. Alright, so this might be that their payoff is or that their enabler is Sylvan Scrying. Alright, and I'll just take a land out of the deck. My life total doesn't mean a whole lot. So I'm just gonna hope that their one avenue to Tron is a single copy of Sylvan Scrying. It is not. We hit something though, so that's good. Not usually the way I would expect to win. There's the tower. There's the map. Well, we can actually decay the map. Liliana's a very good follow-up. If we can keep them off of Tron for a little bit, this could go well. Like, if we can Liliana next turn and start working on the hands before they can start actually deploying their threats, we've got a good shot. Especially if we can work towards ultimate. Alright, Forest is not a Tron land. Okay, that's our pressure. Let's just make sure I've got all my colors. And I guess I can just ditch redundant Renin 6 here. I mean, I may want the bolt to win a race. Okay. They are going to just cast their spells eventually. Alright. But they don't have any more lands. If they rip mine, then we just die. They ripped the mine? Are you kidding? On the first try. Oh my god, that's so tilting. First try, like, they didn't even give me a chance. That's Tron for you. Oh my god. What are you thinking about? Just play the stupid 6-mana idiot. Referring to Ugin as the idiot, not the opponent, obviously. What a tilt. Like, if we dodge it for even a turn, like, a turn is not enough, but 2 turns, and we can ultimate the Liliana. That doesn't do anything. Like, we can bolt the Karn, but then we still have to face down a Ugin the Ineffable. Tron. What did you draw? And this draw Ugin? Okay. Okay. You hate this matchup, you've only ever played it twice. Yeah, James, the Tron is the deck that you'll learn to hate. Because I feel like most of the matches go like that. Like, you scrape by through one of either games 1 or 2, and then game 3 you've got a really close one, and they just rip Tron and cast their stupid thing. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get any better if you play against it more than twice. That's just how it is. Tron is like one of those decks where people complain about it all the time, and like everyone teases that no one likes the Tron player. In my case, it's true. I don't like the Tron player. I mean, it's a meta call deck, right? It's a lot like Burn in that if it's good in the meta, you'll just sweep the floor with it. But if it's bad, it's just unplayable. Like, you can never play Tron in a combo meta. But if everyone's playing midrange, like us, Tron's nuts. This hand is funky. I can't do anything until turn 3. I can't do anything past turn 1. I can't cast any of my spells. Yeah. We're on the draw. I guess I'll keep a 5. We need a fetch lands to enable the Ren and 6. I am intrigued. I don't know what this is. Huh? Fetch land. Alright, give me a fetch land. I mean, that's better than nothing. This means Ren and 6 gets to ping off the Memnite. I mean, I guess they're going to equip this, and like they have Welding Jar. It's 1 to equip, or it's 2 to equip. So if I cast Ren and 6 and ping off a Memnite, they can save it, and then they might be able to equip a Shadow Spear to finish off the Ren and 6. But it's my highest upside play by a lot. Alternatively, they could just Welding Jar the Memnite and then just attack the Ren and 6. So I think this turn is going to be used on a Lightning Bolt. Try to Ren and 6 to clear the last thing. Also, like, if they draw a land, they might use their turn to equip a Shadow Spear. Then I can bolt that one. They can Welding Jar to protect it. Alright, so it's just like Affinity, I guess. Alright, well, regenerating removes it from combat and taps it anyway. I honestly don't know that the opponent actually wanted to use their thing there. Alright, that was a good draw. That means we can Inquisition. And then maybe hit something from the hand. Whoa. Alright, well, Fire and Ice is very mana intensive. So I think I'll just take the Stoneforge. And then if they don't play it next turn, I can Inquisition that. Alright, so they'll get to attach Plating and kill the Wrenn and 6. But then any removal spell, I think we're ahead. They're just going to equip Shadow Spear instead? Sure. So they can pay 1 to make my things lose Hexproof and Indestructible? Okay. So this is Cranial Plating currently a +3/+0. Search for an equipment. I mean, I guess I'd take that because it's the thing they can cast. Like, they can equip Plating and cast a gift. Gonna need another removal spell. I mean, if I can hit a removal spell, their equipment mostly does nothing. Drew one anyway. Come on, removal. Come on, removal. Well, lose 3. Take a Cranial Plating. Pass. Then I'll take another 5, go to 3. This Thoughtseize is uncastable. This matchup seems like it should be absurdly good. If I draw removal this turn, I think we're ahead by a lot. We can't just use Bloodbraid to block because their things got trample. That puts us to 1. I guess I should wait until they try to equip it, use their turn. Alright, so we're going to go to 1, which means we're not actually going to have black mana for the rest of this game. Unless we draw, like, Blackleaf Cliffs or one of our shocks. Goyf's great. It's on the big side. They've got Ink Moths, but those do Infect. Alright, they're gonna just... Okay, they're getting rid of this. They should probably just be killing me over 2 turns with a Cranial Plating and an Ink Moth. It gives it +4/+0. It has 1 power on its own, so that's 5 and 5 is 10 is kill me. I mean, they could still do it. Yeah. So yeah, I think I need too much now. This mulligan to 5 was just kind of atrocious. Alright, this matchup should be just absolutely insane, though. I think I want to cut the Thoughtseizes. They're really, really bad in the top deck war, and they don't actually kill anything. Especially when the opponent's planning on dumping their hand so quickly, they'll lose value fast. Along those lines, I guess Liliana also loses value fast, but edicting something could be nice when they've spent so much mana putting equipment on something. I honestly don't like Seasoned Pyromancer here. 3 mana for just some chump blockers doesn't really feel like it's going to do enough. And I think I'll take out like 1 ooze. Just leave in pretty much everything that can kill something. And then Bob just like finds me more things that kill something. Don't think Spell Bomb is going to be important for anything. Let's give it a go. I could see argument for 4th Bloodbraid over a 2nd Scavenging Ooze, but gaining some amount of life could be good. Come on, let's keep 6. Yeah, I guess I'll keep. Bottom of Blood Crypt. Blackleaf Cliffs makes Blood Crypt not needed. Okay, that's not a bad one. Well, we already know we'll be able to cast it. This is getting pushed off a cliff. Let's draw Kolaghan's Command. Bob is really good too. That was an insane draw. Not only will it hopefully out-mulligan us, but it'll just draw us more disruption, ideally. Castle could be problematic. Oh, this makes sense. All right, let's reveal some removal, please. Just play the land that they know about. Liliana of the Veil, please. So whenever an equipment enters the battlefield, draw a card. I'll attack with both. Like, we're drawing cards off of the Bob, sure, but they're also drawing off of Pure Steel Paladin. They may drop off more off of Pure Steel Paladin than we can draw with the Bob, so I think it's a favorable trade. They both attack for the same. Okay. Draw 2. Their deck is sweet. Let's find the Maelstrom Pulse, shall we? I'll even be okay if we flip it off of the Bob. Well, there's the Liliana, and there's the Pulse. Sometimes I'm lucky. Leaving up green for the Scavenging Ooze. I guess I'll play Verdant, so I have the option of eating another thing. Definitely going to eat something now to get in extra damage. This is 5, 8. So if I hit them for 9, put them to 6, and they get rid of the ooze somehow, it's not lethal still. So I think I'll just hold up the green in case we got something silly. It doesn't actually change the clock. Yeah, Bob definitely helps. I sideboarded it in, huh? Huh? What if this is the one I brought in? Alright, there's the batter skull that we knew about. Cranioplating on the Ornithopter could prove to be pretty annoying. Especially when batter skull is buying them time. Alright, now let's find Kolagon's command. Kolagon's command. Kolagon's command. Damn. Never lucky. So if I fetch basic swamp, I can have triple green to eat stuff, but there's only one creature in the yard anyway. I am going to attack with the ooze, I think. Actually, that doesn't actually achieve anything. Alright, I mean, I guess I can Liliana first. Which means, yeah, I guess I will fetch basic swamp now. We already have the forest in play, so Verdant is the worst fetch. Like, at a minimum, this is at least taking an artifact off the field. Alright, that's something, this is just another thing to eat with the ooze. Alright, so you can equip Ornithopter. They've got 3 artifacts currently. This castle costs 4 and tap it. I don't dislike my spot, but I'm definitely afraid. Another paladin? Yuck. I'm putting it on the skull. Do they want to trade off the germ? Where's it going? At me. I mean, Battle Skull is 5 to equip. That is the entire turn. Blocking means I have an attack. So I think I actually do want to trade off for a germ here. Then I'll gain some life on the way out. This means Goyf will be a little smaller if I draw it, but it'll still be pretty big. I may even be able to get another Edict off of this Liliana. They're kind of priced into attacking it, or I will. Oh, that's right, it costs 0 to equip. Forgot about that text. Kolagon's command. I celebrated too early. What is this? That's upsetting. What did I reveal? Verdant. Alright, so there's the Verdant that I revealed. I already played these. I already played that. So they know about a Bloodstained Mire. I think I'm just going to get the 2 min tapped. Alright, so Liliana is going to get another Edict in case, unless they do something about it. That's fine. Is it equipped to this cost 0? No, equipment to anything costs 0. So they can just smack me for 8 twice. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I thought this matchup should be really, really good, but we have just flooded. And then game 1 just wasn't a game. So this is going at me, and this is going at Liliana. So Liliana's dying, and I guess I'm taking 6. I still need to find Kolaghan's command. Like, I can kill Batterskull and do 2 to the Ornithopter. If I hit Kolaghan's command, we've got a game. Another Liliana isn't it. Another land isn't it. I expect them to just activate Inkmoth and sacrifice that. Unreal Flood, though. Oh, well, now they don't have a flyer. What was it that I had revealed? They know about a Bloodstained Mire? Alright, so now they don't know anything. So round 1 we hit Tron, and then round 2 we just have mana issues. Like, the opponent has had mana issues too, but they've drawn 2 of their Horizon lands that redraw. I'll block with Bloodburied. Does this 1 life mean anything? I've got Blood Crypt that I can fetch. Don't think it does. They have 1, 2, 3 artifacts to give it +3/+0. So I don't think there's a huge difference between 7 and 6. Like, they can activate both Inkmoths to make it 5, but I'm still alive at 1 at that point. Well, there's the Kolaghan's command. It's a bit late though. This Bob is going to put me in danger. Yeah, I have flooded a little slightly. That is accurate, James. I mean, funny enough, there's a chance we come back. These 2 draws make it possible. I have to kill the Cranial. I have to kill Batterskull and get Ornithopter. The issue is they can just pay 3 and return Batterskull to their hand. And then, like, replaying it even draws them a card. I have to kill the Ornithopter. But I can play the Plague Engineer. I can name Blinkmoth. Plague Engineer actually does hold back Pure Steel Paladin because of Death Touch. We got 1 Swamp and 1 Mountain left in the deck to fetch, so these things kind of do the same thing. Alright, so they don't know about Kolaghan's command, so I'm going to bank on that being my ticket out of here. I also need to not die to this Bob, though. And then I'll wait until they attack to see where all the equipment is going. Alright, they can pay 3 in response to me Kolaghan's commanding, which is kind of rude. Although now if they Batterskull, I can Kolaghan's command. Oh my god. I'll say I could Kolaghan's command to do 2 damage to the Paladin and destroy the Ornithopter, which I should still do. So, destroy an artifact, 2 to a target. choose an artifact, you, 2 to a target, you. And then I just have to hope this Bob doesn't kill me. They're just going to flash in a Batter Skull and equip it. Yep. Sigarda's Aid. Well, Ornithopter's going to die. Unless they equip that, which they're not. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if they attack with the Pure Steel Paladin, I can double block. Make sure my Bob dies. I mean, I've even got the Liliana to Edict the Paladin, so as long as I don't die to this Bob, I might actually come back. Alright, let's see if I die to the Bob. Probably will, right? I deserve it. Reveal Bloodbraid? Yeah, I die. I die. What was I drawing? Come on, Moto, let me see what I was drawing so I can feel worse about myself. Alright, fine. Don't give me the satisfaction. Pretty rough. Yeah. Let's see if we can have better luck this round though. Rounds 1 and 2 we're pretty abnormal. Like I'm okay losing like a good match, you know? Like even if it's a bad matchup, if I put up a fight and I lose, then cool. But if you just rip the Tron land exactly when you need it, or I get mana issues back-to-back games, that feels worse. Shubtoad. I think I actually know this person. I feel like I might have talked to them in real life before. I think they're in a city near me. I have a message. Let's say you too, not you. Oh, we have emojis now? So I guess right now it's shadow of some kind. Yeah, probably shadow. Our hand's good versus shadow. We've got Liliana for the Gurmag Anglers, which means it's probably getting taken. But we're actually kind of insulated versus the card Death Shadow. Alright, so they knew we drew Woodifla Hills, but they know the rest of our hand too, so might as well just play the Overgrown Tomb. So my guess would be Jund Shadow, just because that appears more popular around this time. I know Reed Duke was doing pretty hot with a Jund Shadow list, and a lot of people started copying. Yep. Shred me, shred me. Angler. Dismember. Yep. Liliana. Goif's fine too. It's a 6/7. They're at 6. Funny, funny. Come on, get there. Come on, get there. Alright, we can push that. Wow, we actually win. our Goif gets there. Because we can Fatal Push this Tarmogoyf, which they know about. And this attack. Kind of funny. I cast 2 spells this game. I guess 3, including the ooze. Rawr. Alright. Turn 4 kill, hey. Alright, so Jund Shadow. I'm assuming they're playing Delirium cards, so Spellbomb gonna be good there. I love Dark Confidant. And Plague Engineer is probably fine because it just trades with anything. It also makes my Goifs bigger than theirs. Then Kitchen Finks blocks forever, buys some time. Don't think I really want Ashiok, although they are playing Delirium probably. So that would help there. If there's enough to take out, maybe I'll bring in the Ashioks. This is a matchup where I really like the Seasoned Pyromancer. I really like a lot of the cards here though. I think I'm going to take out 2 Inquisitions. Because it still comes down to like a mid-range matchup, but they can act as a combo deck, so having some number of them is probably right. Who knows, though. I'm honestly thinking of shaving a Kolaghan's command. Doesn't actually kill anything, and so the only relevant modes are going to be like you discard a card and return a creature. I don't think I want a 3 mana instant speed return a creature before something else in the main deck. Scavenging Ooze is going to be good for combating the Delirium stuff. Renin 6 is going to be good. Bolt doesn't actually kill a lot, right? Do I just cut those completely? Harder to threaten burst damage to kill them. And they're not playing, what's the card? Stubborn Denial, at least as far as I know. I mean, but I think I'd rather any one of these cards over a random Lightning Bolt. So yeah, I guess I'll leave the Ashioks out. Especially on the draw, they're probably worse. Well, if I can guarantee there was a fetch land on top, this hand would be amazing, but I cannot. I think I'm going to bottom the Kitchen Finks. I'm not really even close to casting it. Any land means I can cast all of the rest of my stuff. Surprise, surprise, they have the turn 1 hand disruption. Thoughtseize takes Thoughtseize, yep. Inquisition. Pew pew. I have very few bad draws right now. I guess like green spells are not great right now, given that I can't cast them, but I will eventually, in theory. I guess they're thinking about whether or not they want to pop Bobble right now. Yeah, they want to keep complete information. Alright, well, non-green land isn't ideal. Especially because I'm going to be kind of priced to playing in the Black Leaf Cliffs first if I want to be able to Bloodbraid on 4. I would appreciate it if I could keep something secret for once. Alright, they didn't shock Stomping Ground, so I guess that means no Death Shadow. That's a good sign. Ooh, that was very, very good. I mean, I haven't really played any creatures and their hand's been kind of slow, so I wouldn't at all be surprised if they had some way to kill this. Come on, Greenlands. I mean, it takes a shadow, at least. I guess I'll make him search for another shadow. That's a good one. Forgot about that. Cast a Bobble now. You're right. Yeah, this Luris is gonna wreck me. If I hit Greenland into Liliana, I could be really good. Greenland. That's the Greenland. Liliana. Goyf is also large. And they can't actually dismember the Goyf, it's too big. So they can dismember here. Need a way to kill this Luris. I mean, it could be a way to kill this Luris. There it is. That was lucky. No denying. Tough choice, I know. Don't strain yourself. So they still have Dismember. But yeah, they can't really attack because then I just kill them on the backswing after I take the hit. Funny. Alright, so I guess I'm going to name Lurgoyf. Alright, and I still don't have an attack with the Goyfs because A, they could just double block, and B, they've got a Dismember. So like they could double block, I'll kill one Goyf, 3 will get through, they'll go to 5. Yeah, so they'd eat the Goyf with the Dismember. They'd have to sacrifice this. I'm assuming they don't have another swamp. So they're going to be taking at least 2 life off of it, going to 6. Yeah, nothing would get through. No, 3 would get through. They would go to 3, which means they're dead to a bolt, but I took all the bolts out. Just pass. Funny enough, this swamp is actually the first card that I've drawn that they haven't known about. They've known about every single card I've had every step of the way except for this swamp. Thanks to Infinite Mishra's Baubles. You got him. Yeah, definitely Death Shadow. Pretty sure Luris is a one-of. I don't want them to find Kolagon's command. That would be problematic. I would love my own. Ooh. Hey, James. You like this draw? Red. I guess a swamp. Yeah, I mean, This is why it's here, right? Like this is the scenario where it's absolute best, and it was good. Don't think I have an attack yet. Oop. I hear that 3-for-1s in Top Deck Wars are pretty good, right? Indeed. Did you hit the K command? That lets them get back Loris. Oh, they're just getting a Shadow. Yeah, I guess they don't have the mana to cast it now. Shadow is large. Ooh, that's cool. I think I'll just lead with it. Just get the card now and see what happens. Yeah. Can we draw like Liliana of the Veil? That'd be pretty nutty. Ha! Another one! Not bad at all. I mean, there are two in the deck. There's the second one. And there's the Liliana. Jeez. Jeez. We've drawn really, really hot. Granted, there are lots of things that would have been really good there, but this is probably the best one. Like Liliana, excuse me, would have been absurd. Polygon Scan would have been absurd. Bloodbraid Elf would have been absurd. I feel like maybe the important thing to evaluate is how often a card is absurd, right? Like Seasoned Pyromancer, it seems really good in this spot. But how often is it really, really good? But I mean, the same could be said about things like Liliana too, right? Like here, Liliana's also very good. But in a lot of other places, Liliana is very bad. I mean, it's all meta call dependent based on how often you think something's going to be good. All right, so if we Liliana here, they're hellbent, so I'm pretty sure this just kills them. Because a blocker goes bye-bye, 2 things will get through. Actually, that means they go to 1, which means Renin 6 can kill them. We did it. You feel the 3-2 coming on? Gotta flick some cards, you know how it is. Right? Yeah, here in America, nothing's really opening up yet. Or I guess everything is open, but nothing is safe and open. Our leadership has not been the greatest. Thanks, yeah. I mean, it's really hard to play poorly when you draw as hot as we did. So maybe that luck was making up for our first 2 matches, right? Yeah. I really wish I could start going to some paper events again, but It's kind of a wasteland. Yeah, sounds good. We even mulliganed, how kind. Oh, it's red-green though. So we can take their turn 1 accelerant. We've got Lightning Bolt to deal with Scavenging Ooze. The issue is that I don't think I can actually beat a Clothis. Not when they turn 3 it. It's pretty close, to be honest. I don't know what I'm supposed to take here. Clothis is going to be really hard to beat. But leaving him with the turn 1 play is also kind of... I think I'm going to take the Clothis. It feels weird, but I don't think I can beat it. Question in the chat is, what is your thought on the Thoughtseize versus Inquisition of Kozilek ratio? I know generally in an aggressive meta, IAK is better. I kind of feel like you summarized the answer already. Just in an aggressive meta, IOK is better. The general consensus seems to be that 6 hand disruption spells is right. I've played fewer than 6 in the past. Like when combo kind of dies down and midrange kind of rises up, I tend to dislike the hand disruption. Like hand disruption is fine versus aggro because it's just another way to tear them apart and like kind of get your feet under yourself. But assuming 6 is the number you want to play, more often than not, a 4-2 split in favor of Inquisition is usually right, I think. If you expect lots of big mana and combo and not a lot of aggro, then 3 Thoughtseizes is probably the way to go. Land? Alright, well that is a land. I think I'm going to just use this turn to bolt the Scavenging Ooze. I could Seasoned Pyromancer and then try to get back the land, but the Ooze is going to eat it. So I think I do just have to get rid of the Ooze. I guess I can wait in that case. Just play this tapped. Yep, your thinking was pretty spot on. I should probably keep up with what they've played. There we go. And there we go. So they can gain 1 life here with the Scavenging Ooze, which does not put it outside of bolt range. So let's... I was going to say, if I draw a land here, I might just Season Pyromancer, pitch the land, get it back with Wrenn and 6, but this might just be the Bloodbraid turn. Especially because this is probably their Chandra turn. Indeed it is. Well, that's 1 Bloodbraid I don't have to play against. Alright, and land's good here, because that means I get to Bloodbraid. So, I think I should actually activate this Wrenn and 6 to ping the Chandra, because if I hit another Wrenn and 6, I can ping the Chandra again and get rid of it immediately. Don't think this game is going to come down to a Wrenn and 6 ultimate, given how much burn they've got. So I think I'll go for the high upside, but also pretty high floor play of ping this Chandra. And then if I hit it, cool, and if I don't, it's hopefully something else useful. Like a Tarmogoyf. Alright, and then obviously attacking the Chandra. Make sure they can't... I still can't remember the name of the sorcery that does 4 damage to something. It's not Lava Axe. That's a 5-mana sorcery that deals 5 to a player. Anyone know the name of the 4-mana sorcery? Sorry, the 1-mana sorcery that deals 4 damage to a creature? This is a Glorybringer. Oof! Alright, so that's a bit of a punish for minusing the Ren and 6. Just because, like, now it can die. Yeah. Even exerting it, huh? Yeah. Ooh, that was good. Alright, so I can take a life here in order to be able to hold up Lightning Bolt. It'll kind of tell them that I have the Lightning Bolt, but that's probably okay. They could have Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer would be pretty annoying. But their Glorybringer is exerted, so at least it isn't attacking again this turn. So let's hope they don't have Veil. Cool. Yeah, I could go at them. So, but like 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15, which is not 17. So I think we should just definitely air to the Chandra. And now they practically know that I've got Lightning Bolt because I paid a life off of Nurturing Peatland. Their own Season's Pyromancer, yep. I think I'm just gonna bolt it and get it out of the way. Also I'm likely to want to cast a Seasoned Pyromancer on my turn anyway. So emptying my hand's probably fine. Alright, and Seasoned Pyromancer good here. I can get basic Swamp, Insulate versus the Blood Moon effects, and play a Scavenging Ooze, and they discarded a Glorybringer. Wow. The other card in their hand's got to be pretty good too, then, huh? Hopefully, it's not third Glorybringer. I'm not gonna play around it though. I'm gonna play my hand out. I mean, if they don't kill my Scavenging Ooze, I'm going to be able to get their Seasoned Pyromancer out of the yard before they get to use it, so that's cool. I guess another Pyromancer kind of makes sense. Yeah, I mean, as long as we keep on playing like these grindy mid-range mirrors, Seasoned Pyromancer is going to look very good, right? The real question is, what percentage of the time are we going to play against stuff like this? Cloth is actually not a huge deal here because our Scavenging Ooze can target whatever they're targeting, and it kind of will negate the effect. So if I Edict here, I cannot kill them because I only got 2 green. I could hit them for 6. I think I'm going to have to negate whatever they target with the Clothis. But I also want to make sure their Seasoned Pyromancer leaves the graveyard. So I think I'm going to exile that pretty much immediately. Don't know if I want to plus or minus this Liliana. They don't actually have a favorable block. So I think plussing might be right. Like, they have to block Tarmogoyf, probably with Elemental. But if I minus with the Liliana, they have to block Tarmogoyf. They'll take 5 going to 3. And then I'm negating the Klothys trigger. It puts him in striking distance. Alright, let's do an extra damage to him by eating something now. Oop, not that one. Seasoned Pyromancer. And then I'll leave up the green for going 1 extra damage to enable myself to counter this Klothys activation, or trigger rather. There's no real reason to play the land here. And just like that, I got distracted and I forgot to eat the thing. It's okay. It's okay. Bloodbraid. Okay. What does it hit? Utopia Sprawl? That's fine. What's up, Ursa Belf? Jund out indeed. This 3-2 is not going to be enough to get there. And neither is that land, so I think we've got it now. And they've conceded. Sweet. Alright, so red, green, mid-range. So as it turns out, thought seizing that Klothys on turn 1 was pretty correct, because I think we would have lost had we not taken it. Alright, I like the Plague Engineer for naming stuff like Elemental, because it clears their Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. And since it does come down to a damage race, I've found the Elemental tokens to be really annoying. Spellbomb's going to be fine. Again, just another way to deal with their Seasoned Pyromancer. A lot of the times they're the ones bringing in the Grave Hate, because they don't use their own graveyard very much. So maybe I don't bring in the Spellbombs. Not sure how I feel about Dark Confidant while I'm on the draw. It's definitely worse on the draw, and they've got ridiculous amounts of ways to kill it. Did not see Ren and 6s from them, though. So maybe it gets a little bit better. Let's try this. Alright, let's try not Spellbomb. That means there are 4 cards I'm bringing in. I don't think I want to bring in a double green card versus the Blood Moon deck. This would have me cutting 3. I think I'll cut 1 Inquisition. It's still probably pretty important to nab the Blood Moon, which puts me in an awkward spot as far as hand disruption goes. I think Liliana probably weaker on the draw. Well, it's definitely weaker on the draw, but stuff like Seasoned Pyromancer... Seasoned Pyromancer in general is very good against Jund. It makes a lot of my cards a lot more awkward, my spot removal less effective, my Planeswalkers less efficient. And then honestly, K-Command doesn't really kill a whole lot now, does it? Returning a creature is probably going to be the most relevant mode on that. I think I'm inclined to give this a try. Like, I can see argument for like any of these 5 cards here. I don't think they're better than any of this stuff, though. Again, if I can guarantee my next card was a fetch land, this hand would be amazing. But we don't do anything if it's not. Well, I guess that's a lie. We do have Thoughtseize. Regardless, I think I'm going to ship. It's pretty close. Goyf is probably my best creature versus them. I think that mulligan's debatable. And then bottoming Bolt there because I only really need the Bolt for the turn 1 Accelerant, assuming it's the creature Accelerant. And I want my 1 creature. Cool, it's the creature Accelerant. Oh, that was so good. Unfortunately, Swamp doesn't cast it. This is never getting Forest anyway, so I don't feel super bad about getting just Stomping Ground. It never gets Basic Forest, excuse me. This is their Bloodbraid turn. I think I want to just make sure they can't do that. They could also be playing Veil of Summer, which means my Thoughtseize is going to lose equity over time. And our Ooze isn't really super effective because they get first access to eating stuff anyway, so playing a bear into a bigger bear doesn't seem smart. Luckily their hand is crap. So Ronin 6 not even necessarily going to be good if we draw a fetch land, because they've got the Ooze to combat whatever I want to target. So I guess now I am just playing my bear and playing a land. I mean, 3 at a time isn't the most menacing clock. But I mean, just about any non-land draw from them is probably going to bury me. And I do have back-to-back Bloodbraids if I hit a land, which is big game. Yikes. So if they kill my Scavenging Ooze, the Bloodbraid can finish off the Chandra. Unless, of course, they've got Lightning Bolt as their last card. Alright, well now Lightning Bolt doesn't do it. Alright, so the absolute nuts here would be untapped land, Bloodbraid into a way to kill the Scavenging Ooze. That could be a game I easily win. But it starts with untapped land. Worst case scenario, I can Renin 6, kill the Chandra, which now I kind of have to do. I could plus Renin 6 to get back Bloodstained Mire and then cast Tarmogoyf now, but that seems pretty bad leaving a Chandra in play. Also, they can control the size of my Goyf with their Ooze, so that doesn't seem great. Maybe this Renin 6 acts as a gain 4 if they decide to attack it, although they also know that they have it under control with the Ooze itself. Yeah, they're just going for it now. Not a surprise. So, I mean, I'm dead in 2 turns. So, I mean, I intend on blocking with whatever I play here, so I guess I'll just go ahead and play the Bob. Not too low life total for this to matter anyway. I continue to fall victim to the abyss. Maelstrom Pulse? Fatal Push? So I guess I'll pass. There's only one creature to actually eat. I'll let them decide which Ooze they want to eat with before Fatal Pushing. Alright, good. I was hoping they would at least put the counter on the one that was already big, so Fatal Push kills 2 birds with 1 stone. So I mean, a 2/2 is a much smaller clock than a 5/5. Clearly, because you know, math. I'll let him keep making these decisions without knowing their thing is gonna get fatal pushed. I mean, again, they could draw just about anything and absolutely bury me. Yep. Darn, they ate it with the wrong ooze. Alright, so this is still going to be a 2-turn clock then, because I'm going to kill one ooze before damage, and then they'll get to eat it with the ooze that's still alive. Untapped land, please. Untapped land, please. That is an untapped land. Alright, let's hit Liliana of the Veil. Is that too much to ask? Liliana? I boarded one out. Wrong Planeswalker. Hey look, a distraction. No attack, please. That'll do it. Alright, so still red-green mid-range. On the play, I like Liliana more. Still a concern that it'll be uncastable under a Blood Moon. Same with Kitchen Finks. Cards that I'm considering are Kolaghan's Command, some number of Spell Bombs. On the play, Hand Disruption gets a little bit better, but it's still a mid-range matchup, so maybe that's extraneous. Guess I'm considering Liliana as well. Honestly, I think I'm happy with how I've got it now. Our main deck already gets better just being on the play because of stuff like Dark Confidant and Plague Engineer. Alright, I'm going to run it back. Yeah. We can get our swamp. We don't have a way to get our forest yet. We can kill their turn 1 accelerant, and then we've got a strong 2-drop, which will hopefully be shortly followed by our strongest 4-drop. I guess our only 4-drop, but that makes it the strongest one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I want Bob. It is still a mid-range matchup, and being on the play makes it a lot better too. Like, in a game that's largely about resources, I think I want as many resources as possible. Bob helps me do that. Alright, I'll fetch basic swamp here. Ooh, where do I Thoughtseize? I mean, I'm still under the predicament of I probably can't beat a Colossus that comes down super early. I mean, as of right now, I could always Dark Confidant plus Lightning Bolt next turn if they play something like Scavenging Ooze. I think I probably should just Thoughtseize. There are a lot of cards I really don't want to see on turn 3 specifically. There is the Blood Moon. Taking Bloodbraid would be good too. Yeah, they've even got the ooze. Alright, I'll take the moon. So I'm assuming they're gonna go Scavenging Ooze this turn. Which means like I should probably just like shock in another red source. So I can bolt it. Kinda gives it away. But I think I really want I'm pretty sure I want to get Swamp with this so I can insulate versus future Blood Moons. So I'm kind of conceding to a Blood Moon off of the top. Watch them just not play the ooze. They're just not playing the ooze because I shocked. That's kind of funny. Alright, I still think I want the Mire to get basic Swamp. So I think I'll just get Swamp now. Use it to cast Bob, and I can still hold up the Lightning Bolt. Make sure I have at least one color of mana under the Blood Moon. I guess it would be two because I have red, but red is far less useful. See, like in a spot like this, Bob looks great. If they cast Bloodbraid here, I'll probably just fire off the bolt on it. I want to keep my life total high because I want the game to drag on as long as possible. Please be like Utopia Sprawl or something. Oh, well, they hit a bolt. Not great. So I guess, oops. I guess I can bolt their Bloodbraid and then untap and cast my own. It'll be a little on the awkward side if my Bloodbraid hits a removal spell. And then I could have just used the Bloodbraid to do it. Alright, so lots of good hits here, lots of bad ones. That one's okay. Like, I know it takes at least Scavenging Ooze. Alright, it takes only Scavenging Ooze. And their hand's pretty beefy. I have not tried the video editing software yet. A lot of the ones that I've tried so far, the issue has been that they operate fine, but there's a cap to how long the video can be while still using the free version. Bailoff, yeah. Yeah. I'm still not sure if I should actually post the what's the name of the event? The showcase, whatchamacallit? Ooze is good here. Although I kind of think I should be trying to K-command back the Bloodbraid. Like if they attack with Bailoff, I can block, then I can finish it and return it and cast it again. Hopefully use that to pressure their Chandra. Although they may just Chandra first and then minus. If I cast Scavenging Ooze, they'll probably just Chandra and minus on that. But I don't really have many other options. I still get to cast Kolaghan's Command this way. To be honest, like if I don't play the Ooze, they may be inclined to just oh, it's Flame Slash. I remembered the name, not Lava Axe. It's Flame Slash. They may be inclined to Flame Slash the Bloodbraid just to make sure something like Kolaghan's Command or Lightning Bolt doesn't happen. So I think they'll just Flame Slash the Scavenging Ooze, right? And then if they attack with Bailoff, I can finish it, get back Bloodbraid, and then Bloodbraid can finish their Chandra. Darn, they were smart about it though. Alright, well, K-Command can still kill their Chandra and get back my Ooze. Or I could just get back Bob. Probably better to get the Ooze. But yeah, this play was very good from the opponent. This no attack was really smart. Thoughtseize a very dead draw, obviously. Alright, opponent drawing land is what we need to happen. Now they kind of do have an attack. It's a similar attack to last turn though, so maybe they still don't pull the trigger. Ooh. Hey, James. James. We even get an elemental this time. We drew Liliana. Sick. It looks like it's working. It does look like it's working. I'm slowly becoming a fan. Yeah, that was the nut perfect. Seasoned Pyromancer created 2 bodies and drew into Liliana while cycling through a completely dead Thoughtseize. I don't think there was a better draw. Like, even Bloodbraid into Seasoned Pyromancer doesn't let me kill their Baloth this turn. Alright, one of their own is definitely good. Yeah. I mean, it's possible that like there's just so much mid-range out there that, you know, Seasoned Pyromancer just isn't a good spot. Completely possible. Oh, that's good for them though. They're fighting fire with fire. Seasoned Pyromancer with Seasoned Pyromancer. Well, they can't actually cast the Bone Crusher this turn, which I guess is a thing. I'll get to munch on their last card with Liliana. I guess I'll munch on their last card with a slightly bigger Liliana. Please don't be Baloth. How tilting would it be if their last card was a Baloth? Whew. Is it Veil of Summer? They're just going to cycle a Veil. If they cycle a Veil, we'll just discard that. Is it a Bolt? Is it another Bone Crusher? That'd be a tilt. Yikes. Yikes. Their Seasoned Pyromancer drew him 2 Bone Crusher Giants. That's insane. And they drew another one. Alright, they've outdrawn us. They've just outdrawn us. Like, I won't take away the fact that our Seasoned Pyromancer was insane, but theirs was insanier. Alright, Elf doesn't really do a whole lot. I guess I should just take one of these out of exile. Yep. Yeah, I mean, edicting them just means they get rid of a Seasoned Pyromancer, and that will reproduce elementals, so that's not good. There's attacking. I mean, I guess I'll block. If I don't draw something this turn, this will give me something to do with my mana. Yeah, back-to-back Pyromancer Ifs. Ren 6 is okay here. I can Ren 6 plus get back a land and then be able to activate my Seasoned Pyromancer. I can ping off the Arbor Elf and then Edict. It's probably better. This will probably just get rid of another Pyromancer though. The phrase is more insane. Yeah, I know. But the phrase insanier is insanier. Maelstrom Pulse? That would be good. Maelstrom Pulse. Terminate. So, edicting them is only going to kill an elemental, unfortunately. I'll cash it in, though. So I can terminate a Bone Crusher and activate the Pyromancer from the yard to block. Keeps Ren 6 alive. And then I gotta beat a Chandra too. Another Bone Crusher. Jeez. Stop it. It's not fair. They're just all going at me. Wait. Oh, I didn't have something set at the end of attacks. That's my bad. I'm not used to being able to activate stuff. So if I terminate this, I'll go to 7. I'll take 5 to 2. I just die to an onboard Chandra. I'm dead. Yeah, I should have had a stop set, but I don't think it's going to matter within a turn anyway. Alright, so we got one more match of this league. So yeah, I'm still conflicted. So like I'm the kind of person where like I'm gonna be completely skeptic of an idea until it's proven that it's good, right? So I'm still on the fence about Seasoned Pyromancer. And the reason for that, I think, is because Junda's like one of those decks where you don't really have problems fighting other mid-range decks, like I guess except for red green. So like the tools that I think Jund would benefit from are those that fight other strategies like control and aggro and even combo. I mean, I guess against aggro, making bodies is probably fine. Against control, maybe cycling some stuff is probably fine. It's possible. It's possible. It's just good, and I'm being a little too skeptical. But well, I guess more handling will help me figure that out. Yeah, I do think it's very good, but I mean, pretty much every card in Jund is very good, right? So it looks like Shadow again. Yeah. So I mean, in a world where you're building your Tron, you're building your Jund deck for whatever event you're tuning it for. Let's say you've got like 10 really good options, but only like 6 or 7 cards can be 3 or 4 ofs, right? So which 3 don't make the cut? You just have to pick the ones that are least applicable to what you expect to see. Like if I expect to see lots of combo and control, I'm definitely upping my Dark Confidant numbers. If I expect to see lots of aggro, control, and combo, I'm definitely playing 4 Lilianas. Like Liliana, Tarmogoyf, like 1 or 2 Scavenging Oozes, some number of hand disruption spells, Lightning Bolt, like all those things are kind of ubiquitous. Like there are pretty much like 20 or so slots in the 36 or 37 cards that can't really change because then you're just playing a different deck. Like it's not Jund anymore, or it's not Black Green X anymore. So of your, I guess, 16-ish flex spots, you just got to figure out what you like and what you expect to see based off of what you expect to see. Liliana is an insane draw, especially because they don't know about it. So we're hoping to not see hand disruption plus 1 mana removal spell this turn. Like for example, the regionals that I won. I don't know if you're familiar with what regionals are over in Australia, but Star City Games has like a they call it they have the Star City Games Tour, and it's basically like Channel Fireball except for East Coast of the United States instead of West Coast. And they have regionals, which are basically events that feed into their invitational, which is their version of the Pro Tour. The invitational is like pretty hard to get into. Yeah, you don't get those there. Bob's going off, so that's good. Or 1 Bob versus Midrange. That was a good hit. Alright, so let's lead with the Thoughtseize. And yeah, so continuing my story, at the time of this regionals, it was already known that Renin 6 was an absolutely insane card. Like, it was already $80 US. I'll take one of their threats here. But I looked at the meta that I expected to see, and it was all mid-range and all combo, because this is when this is also when Underworld Breach first became a big combo deck. So I was expecting to see lots and lots of combo and lots of control, and like moderate amounts of mid range. I was like, Bob is really insane versus combo and control because they don't really have effective ways to get rid of it without 2-for-1ing themselves or just not getting rid of it at all. So I actually ended up playing 0 Renin 6. Because Renin 6 killed nothing at the time. Like, it doesn't kill anything out of combo, it doesn't kill anything out of control. Out of the mid-range decks, it also didn't kill a lot. So I just didn't play the Renin 6s, and I played 4 Dark Confidant. Now, out of a 130-person, give or take, event, where everyone traveled from multiple states to come and play this thing, so it wasn't like your locals or anyone's locals, where you're not really expecting to see a bunch of jank. Like, people brought only tier 1 stuff, and I took the entire event because Dark Confidant was absolutely insane. I think across 9 matches, it averaged drawing me like 6 or 7 cards per match. I played against aggro once, and the Bobs came out, and they were fine. Pulse? Pulse would make it easy. Oh, what do they have? Shadow's gone. Shadow's gone. Thoughtseize. Reverse. Okay, I know nothing. Bolt works too, because then I can just Renin 6 ping them. So Bolt would be good. Bloodbraid would be good. Removal would be good. Lots of stuff would be good. There's the Bolt. Kill you. That's what happens when you let a Bob go unhandled. Pretty sure this is how I sideboarded last time. I think this is how I want to do it again. Here, I can actually pull up the... I've got the deck list saved. Here, real fast. I'll... here, where'd it go? Collection... John, no run in 6 regional winner. This was the list that I played at the regionals that I won. So there was 0 red in 6, and I maxed out on Bob. And see, I had 2 Croaks in the list, and the Croaks were actually insane. I killed an Amulet Titan player when they were at 5. This hand's good. I can't cast turn 2 run in 6 or Kitchen Finks. Yikes. What was I saying? I killed an Amulet Titan player. Yeah, I killed an Amulet Titan player. They had Field of the Dead going, and they were gonna have me dead within like 2 or 3 turns. But I had a Liliana of the Veil in play, just like plussing at their hand, and I had to like plan my mana because like one of my outs was burning them out. Like that was kind of the only way I was killing them at that point. Because like my board was like 2 Tarmogoyfs and something else, but they had like 8 zombies in play. They just weren't at the point yet where they can start alpha attacking into me with all of their zombies yet, because I was at a pretty high life total. So I had to plan my mana, so I had triple black and triple red at the same time, and then I had to hope to like find a Kroxa and just burn him out. And they went down to 5. They actually went down to 3, and then they cast a Titan, got a bunch of zombies, got a Radiant Fountain, put themselves to 5. And then I drew Kroxa. Alright, so I'm just going to hope they don't have the Veil of Summer. They don't. They have a Ren in 6 though. I'm scared of that. Good old Fetch Shock, untap immediately. So I would love another green source here. Spellbomb's fine too. I could just Tarmogoyf here, but I know about Fatal Push. So I'll just take this opportunity to get Spellbomb down. Maybe I can make one of their traverses worse. Very likely to want to get Stomping Ground with the Wooded Foothills. So maybe I should have Fetch Shocked that. But I think I'm going to want to keep the 2 life. Assuming I don't want to sack the Spellbomb this turn. I feel like the expected value of 2 life is probably higher than the expected value of them traversing on exactly their next turn. Yeah. Another reason why I liked Kroxa at the time of the regional was people weren't really playing main board Graveyard Hate. Like right now, people are playing, what's the name of the card? I brought it up yesterday. The thing with Escape. Cling to Dust. People are playing Cling to the Dust in the main now. There's lots of Scavenging Oozes running around because red-green midrange is so big. And then Jund is not super big, but it exists. They also play Scavenging Ooze. Just like in the matchups where it's usually very good, the opponent just like usually has the answer for it nowadays, whereas before they didn't. I kind of went into my thoughts on Kroxa at the end of Jund League number 9, the video right before this one. But yeah, I feel like Kroxa's window to be absurd was just like the 2 or 3 months after it was made, and then it immediately got worse with all the grape hate coming around, especially when people realized how insane Uro was. Everyone was starting to gun for Uro, and then Kroxa just kind of incidentally gets hit by it. Yeah, I mean, the answer to basically everything in my mind is, what's the meta? What do you expect? Like, if you're just going to be going to locals for the foreseeable future, or you just that's where you like to frequent in general, it's pretty predictable what you're going to see, because people tend to bring the same 1 or 2 things, right? And if you know, like, the 10 people who show up normally all bring the same 1 or 2 things, then like your field is pretty defined. And then Kroxa could be insane in your field. You just have to figure that out. Do I think Kroxa is playable now? I think it's playable. I don't think it's better than the other stuff you could be doing. So if viewing it from if you view playability as is it the best thing you could be doing that'll give you the best chance to win? No, I don't think it's playable. But if you put it in your deck, do I think you'll be able to compete with it? Yes. Liliana's good here. Should probably just get that down. Make sure it can't get Inquisitioned or Thought Seized. Also, getting it up to 4 is pretty useful, because they won't be able to bolt it down. They may not be playing bolts, but there's a chance they are. Another benefit of this is that since we haven't played any creatures, they may be under the impression that their removal is relatively dead. They may start discarding their removal, so that way I can clear the way for my own creatures. Yeah, and keep in mind, like, everything I say, like, I try to be as what's the word I'm looking for? I try to be as non-definitive as possible, I guess is the word. Like, I'm not trying to say that everything I say is right. It goes off of my own experience, and my own experience could be skewed towards towards an experience that I may have that you may not have, you know? Yeah, subjective. I'm trying to be subjective. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Thanks for spotting it, though. Yeah, I try to be as subjective as possible. I try to keep my answers to questions within the context of how the environment is currently. So, like, someone could be watching this recording, say, like, even 2 months from now, and, like, everything I'm saying now could be wrong. But at the time, it's what I think is most accurate. So, unclear whether or not I want to bin the Kitchen Finks or the Fatal Push. They've got Dismember, which does not actually take care of our Tarmogoyf, so I'm definitely playing that this turn. I think having a backup threat in Kitchen Finks is probably beneficial. I've got the Liliana in play to deal with any creatures that they might deploy. So I think I'm going to keep the backup threat, and then I can also just, like, hold up the Spell Bomb this turn. Yeah, Liliana. I'm fairly confident Liliana is the best card versus it's the best disruptive card versus Shadow. I say disruptive because obviously different cards have different roles. Like the best creature versus Shadow is probably Bloodbraid. But that's also a playstyle thing, right? Like if you've built your deck to fight more aggro and control, then your version may be conducive to having Bloodbraid be not your best creature. Maybe it's Seasoned Pyromancer, for example. Alright, so we ended up Tooth Ring. So not ideal at all, but we escaped with some play points. Alright, so for purposes of the recording, I'm going to do a recap. What do I think shined, what do I think didn't shine, and why do I think they did or did not. So our 2 wins this league came both at the hands of Jund Shadow. I think Shadow in general is probably a favorable matchup. Our removal just outclasses their creatures pretty easily, and usually in the past, the threat that Jund has had a hard time dealing with out of the Shadow decks has been Gurmag Angler, but the shift to the Delirium package to enable Traverse the Uvenwald means that they don't really have access to the Gurmag Angler, because our only real answers to those in the past have been Liliana of the Veil and things like Maelstrom Pulse and Assassin's Trophy. Oh, I'm showing the wrong list. Good catch. Yeah, it's Fort Confidant. That's definitely the wrong list. Good catch. This is the one. Thank you. So what I said still applies, and I think Jund Shadow is probably a better matchup than even Grixis Shadow, because we can play off the top of our deck, where you can't necessarily play off the top of the deck versus the Grixis variant, because you could like top deck Liliana all they want, but if they've already got the Stubborn Denial, then it ain't gonna do much. But yeah, Gurmag Angler was the big issue for Jund, because you only have so many good answers to it while also fighting all of the other threats. And for that reason, I'm pretty happy that it shifted to Jund Shadow, because traditional Jund, I think, definitely has... pretty sure it has a better matchup versus the Jund variant. Our other matchups were pretty much all mid-range decks, right? We played against Red-Green. Well, we played against Tron round 1. That's like a 20% victory matchup, maybe even lower than that. They just ripped the Tron land exactly when they needed it, and they demolished us by just casting their big Planeswalkers, which is kind of how we expect that to go. It's possible I could have combated it better, but that would have started from match 0, which is just how I made the deck. I don't think I would change the sideboard currently, because you can only do so much to combat your bad matchups. Like at a certain point, you kind of just have to concede that some matchups you can't really win very often. Like if you want to like heavily tilt your sideboard to gain 30 percentage points versus Tron, but you're not gaining 15 percentage points in 4 other matchups, then like fine. It comes down to what you expect to see. If you expect to see a lot of Tron, then sure, you can tilt your sideboard to really put the pressure on stuff like Tron. But like I said, obviously these are made up numbers, but if putting 30% extra on Tron means you're not putting 15% extra on 4 other matchups, then maybe it's not worth it. My case currently is I think I'd rather put the 15% on 4 other matchups. So I've reserved my sideboard technology to just Damping Sphere and Alpine Moon for now. I feel like Pillage has lost its favor in recent times, because things like Amulet Titan have largely been suppressed. I'm not entirely sure why that is, to be honest, but outside of Tron itself, I don't really think Pillage has a whole lot of uses, except for Eldrazi Tron, which again is just another variant of Tron. But even then, they've got Eldrazi Tron usually has a number of large artifacts you don't mind destroying with the Pillage. So I think my sideboard for right now is fine. But I mean, even against Red-Green, I didn't have a whole lot of slam dunk, get this in the deck cards. I think it's mainly a product of Jund being already such a good mid-range pile that we kind of expect to be good versus mid-range as it is, and we devote our sideboard slots to more dissimilar strategies. It was brought up in chat that maybe Pillage is still good versus blue-white, from what you're told. Honestly, I dislike Pillage versus blue-white. It's pretty good for killing exactly the equipment, but that's kind of it. If you're able to leverage Pillage on exactly turn 3, if you already have either a Tarmogoyf, an Ooze, or a Dark Confidant in play, then it's kind of fine because it's kind of like a time walk effect where you've created a tempo advantage. But if that's not the specific scenario, I don't really like Pillage, because we already have lots and lots of removal, and the swords don't actually do anything as long as there aren't any creatures to carry those equipment. So I tend to like attacking their creature plan more, and then that in turn negates the impact of whatever equipment they could get, if that makes sense. Also, if the equipment is really what you're worried about, we already play, in the main deck even, lots of tools that take care of the equipment. Kolaghan's Command, Maelstrom Pulse. If you're playing Assassin's Trophy, which I think the list that you showed me that you like to play was playing a couple of those. And then also we can just race the equipment. Like, the equipment is obviously good against us because it's their deck's own mode of value generation. But even with that value generation, I think we can combat it with our own. If we're not already just killing their equipment on the spot with the cards we're already playing. So I don't like Pillage because they don't really have like the lands that you want to kill. Like, they're not even playing Colonnade anymore. So as a personal preference, I dislike Pillage versus the blue-white decks. I usually don't bring it in. Because, like, you gotta think, what would you bring it in over? Like, what would you take out of the deck? So, like, let's pretend really fast that with this particular configuration, I'm gonna sideboard versus blue-white Stoneblade / Control. Because, I mean, it could depend on which of the two you're playing against. So I would want Ashioks because that prevents them from searching. It's really good versus getting their equipment, and it's also good at stopping them fetching up Mystic Sanctuary to loop the cryptics and the like. I like Collector Brutality because it gets cryptic. I'll usually swap those for some number of Inquisition. Thoughtseize gets the bigger Planeswalkers and also Cryptic Command. Love Dark Confidant. And Spellbomb is just fine for stopping things like Snapcaster, and then if they're playing stuff like Logic Knot, it'll nab those too. So I like the Spellbombs. So that's already... Here, I'll move these over here. That's already 9 cards. Oops. That's already 9 cards that I would want to bring in. So, like, where are you going to make room for that just in these cards that already exist in the main? So Terminate is on the weaker side. I mentioned that I like to shave some number of Inquisitions. I usually trim a Bolt. And then, again, depending on which version they are, if they're bringing in their own graveyard hate, I like cutting some number of Tarmogoyfs because it is a value-oriented matchup. And it usually isn't a damage race, it's a value engine race. So bringing in these cards, I'll just put them generically to the side for the purposes of Moto automatically counting for us. That's 61 cards already. So I would still need a cut. And Pillage would probably occupy 1 or 2 of these slots. Probably not Plague Engineer. So 1 or 2 of these slots. So at this point, like, what would you bring in Pillage for, right? So, like, while some people may think it's good, it also depends on what cards you want to take out and how many other cards you have to bring in. Because out of all of the cards that you have to bring in, it's probably the case that you've got other cards that are much better than Pillage, at least versus blue-white, and you've got fewer cards in your main deck that are just straight bad versus blue-white. So that's my assessment of that question. I dislike it, is my short to long answer. But continuing with the wrap-up, I guess let me fix this real fast as I talk. Where was I? Oh, okay. I talked about how we played Tron. I talked about how I think we're more favored versus Jund Shadow as opposed to the previous versions of Shadow. Against Red Green, I think we're already just we're kind of disfavored. All of their threats outclass our own, and because like all of their creatures like are in itself a 2-for-1. Like they play multiple Seasoned Pyromancers, they play multiple Bone Crusher Giants. And then they also have like their shutout cards like Blood Moon that we also have to avoid. I try to base all my opinions off of logic as opposed to just being emotional and having pet cards. That said, Dark Confidant is a pet card, so I really try to like make room for it, which is why I'm playing one, even though it might not be the best idea. But I really like it, and that's my personal spice. So yeah, I think Red Green is probably just a disfavored matchup. It's really hard to combat it. Like I said a few moments ago, it's kind of hard for me to find good sideboard cards that I want to bring in just for a mid-range deck. Because like I said, like Jund in theory is supposed to be the mid-range deck to end other mid-range decks, which is why I think like there aren't really a whole lot of other mid-range decks that exist. Like it's kind of just Jund and Red Green. Like let's look at the metagame again while we're here. So there really aren't a whole lot of other quote-unquote mid-range decks. I guess you can count Uro Pile as a mid-range deck. So I guess Uro, Gruul, and I guess even Etron can be considered mid-range. So I guess like your 3 best mid-range decks aren't even Jund. It'd be like Uro, Gruul, and Etron. Let me move this back over here. So I mean, I guess Jund just probably isn't the mid-range deck to end all mid-range decks anymore. But the thing that I do like about Jund as a mid-range deck is we have access to all the black discard spells that make us better versus the combo decks. Stuff like Uro, stuff like I'm just looking at it over on my other screen here. Stuff like Uro, stuff like Etron, stuff like Gruul. They don't have access to those hand disruption spells that are pivotal in winning Game 1 versus Ad Nauseam, for example. Like sure, they have Thought Knot Seer, they can play Chalice of the Void, stuff like that. But that ultimately isn't going to be enough, probably, assuming you pick your timing correctly with Inquisitions and Thoughtseize and the like. And then Liliana also just a really powerful card in general versus most things. Like the plus is usually never dead. The minus is good versus mid-range mirrors. And then the ultimate is obviously mostly game-ending, but it's kind of hard to judge a Planeswalker on the ultimate because it rarely comes up. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember what the 5th match we played was. Oh, we played against that really cool Artifacts deck that was in round 2. Honestly, I think that matchup is supposed to be really good for us. Unfortunately, we just had to mulligan to 5 game 1. And then we didn't hit our black mana source painlessly until like turn 6 or 7 when we were already way behind and dead. And then game 2, we just mega flooded, even with the Dark Confidant out. So I think it's kind of hard to evaluate from that one match versus the Sigarda's Aid deck. I think we should be favored though. Again, not really representative. My assessment that we should be favored is just my years of experience versus artifact decks. Like when Affinity was a thing, and Mox Opal was legal in it. Affinity lost favor even like up to a year before Mox Opal got banned. But when Affinity was large and it was favored, it was one of the better Jund matchups because Kolaghan's came in as such an absurd card against them. Like they had to have Etched Champion or else they would kind of just fold. Because like they would play like Cranial Plating, load it onto something, and then like attack you with an Inkmoth for 9 infect or 10 infect, and then like something else. And you'd be like, all right, shatter this artifact, kill your Inkmoth, and they would just be like frazzled with all the removal. Like they can never put anything. They can never like effectively activate Cranial Plating because whatever they put it on, you just point and click and kill it. And like our artifact decks in general should be pretty good for Jund. So unfortunately, we just didn't get there this time. I mean, 95% win rate matchups still have that 5% fail rate. So I think we just hit that 5% fail rate. Again, made up numbers, but I think we just hit that fail rate. Seasoned Pyromancer is kind of in the spotlight for this league because it's the thing that I'm not completely convinced of yet. I am convinced of all of the other cards just because I've been playing them for so long. And Seasoned Pyromancer did look good in this league. So now I'm with one league where it didn't look good, and I'm with one league where it did look good. And that might just be a product of this league. We did run into lots of mid-range-esque and aggro matchups where like making the extra bodies mattered, generating some amount of card advantage mattered. It's not strictly card advantage because we it never actually pluses cards, and elementals don't technically represent a card because a 1/1 may not be enough to impact the board, but it does actually generate the cards when you're hellbent or just have one card in your hand. And we had that come up twice within the same match, and that was very nice. So I don't deny the power of Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm gonna have to do some more playing with it to really have an opinion on it. I don't like to have opinions on things that I don't know enough about, and I don't think I know enough about Seasoned Pyromancer to really make a definitive personal statement on it yet. But I do like where it's going. I think I can say that. I don't know what spot it's going to take permanently. And when I say permanently, I always mean like semi-permanently, because things are always going to shift based off of if I'm preparing for like a larger scale event and I expect to see a certain audience. I may go up on Seasoned Pyromancer, or I may exclude it completely in favor of something else like Dark Confidant, because they fulfill a similar-ish role in the value generation plan. But yeah, I'm saying a lot, which is my bad. Not convinced, but I am happily optimistic that Seasoned Pyromancer will continue to be used effectively at least a little bit. So those are my thoughts on that. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap up this recording. If you like content like this and want to see some more, please like, subscribe, comment on my channel. I'd love to interact with you guys, and it'll boost my numbers and hopefully get the videos more out there. If you want to watch content like this live, I stream pretty sporadically, but usually around between 9 and midnight Eastern Standard Time. That tends to be when I have the most free time. I try to put up about 5 videos a week. But sometimes I record as many as 3 in a day, so it really depends on how much free time and how much Jundam out attitude I've got going at the time. And I usually do have the Jundam out attitude. I love Jund. I've been playing it since they banned Splinter Twins, so about 4 or 5 years now, right? Maybe not 4 or 5, maybe like 3 or 4. I've been playing Jund a long time, and I really, really enjoy it. So I like to think that I'm slightly above average when it comes to Jund. But I try to be humble and always be open to learning, as I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to figure out if I really like this Seasoned Pyromancer card. So if you'd like to follow me on my Jund journey, please like, subscribe, blah 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 blah, YouTuber crap, etc. etc. If you want to, I mentioned that I'm streaming live right now. My username, which would probably be useful for you to know, I'm going to include that in the description of the video, and it is Junderdome, which is Junderdome, Junderdome. And again, that'll be in the description of this video. So thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, have a good night.